my own way. When I was a toddler, I started out with a little baby rattle with a train on it, and I had played with some wooden trains. And when I was a 5-year-old boy, I used to be a Thomas the Tank Engine fan. I always loved watching that little blue train and the show. I even watched the show that he was on called Shine Time Station. I used to watch it every day when I came home from school. I even watched the show for hours, which my grandmother had copied on a videotape for me every time I came to visit her in Brooklyn. It was a way to keep me occupied while I was visiting, because she always screamed whenever I asked the question, "Do you want to watch trains?" And she always, "Ah!" Okay, sorry, no, tell me. But through my Thomas fan thing, I collected a lot of Thomas merchandise, from pillows, blankets, pictures, to Thomas Ertl toys. And to be honest, I have loved that little blue train, even through adulthood. I try to keep it to a minimum, though, and try to grow up, which my parents say I should do. I also got something that inspired me to be a railroad worker. When my father, who used to be a master diesel mechanic, heavy master diesel mechanic machinist on the Long Island Railroad, he was acquainted with this conductor. And the conductor gave my dad a conductor's hat, which I'm wearing right now on my head. He gave it, and my dad gave it to me. And it inspired me to become a conductor. I have kept this hat to this day. When I first started out with train sets, I couldn't, because my parents were a little worried. Because I had started out with some mild plastic move-around train sets since I was a little kid, because my parents thought it wouldn't be a good idea to give me a Lino train set or an HO model train, because, you know, they're very delicate and they can break easily. This was a way of helping me get through it. But as I got older, things changed. I got my first Lino train set at age 6, nearly 7 years old. I saw it at a flea market, but my parents brought it secretly for me for Christmas. And when I awoke Christmas morning, there it was, around the tree. And it was staring right up at me, and from that day on, I collected a few Lino train set pieces ever since. When I turned to the age of 19, I started having a liking for HO trains. I started because I was trying to look for some of these heavyweight HO model coaches from the Erie Railroad that my father has a fascination for. And I became obsessed with that railroad and coaches until my dad got annoyed because I was always searching for them. He got very annoyed about that. He told me to stop obsessing over the Erie Railroad, and there's more to life than collecting cars and stuff from that railroad, and that there were different freight cars that were used on that railroad. Even though what he said, I still stuck to the HO models and kept my interest in the Erie Railroad to myself, and explored whatever freight cars there were around me. And I did. For example, in 2012, I was, as you must know, I used to be an assistant scoutmaster. I was at this train show at the VFW post. While there, working, if you might say, I saw these refrigerator cars with some advertising on them, and thought they would do well for me and my father's collection. When he saw them in our truck, I almost got worried and was wondering what he was going to say, even when I mentioned my interest in the Erie. He said there was no problem, and he was actually smiling. He was glad that I saw these refrigerator cars, and I was looking at other freight cars than the ones from the Erie Railroad. He was glad I was broadening my interests. As a young kid, I kept bragging. A lot of the kids got annoyed at me because I kept bragging about my love of trains to a lot of my classmates, and they got tired of it and they made fun of me. However, as the years went by, I tried to keep my bragging to a minimum so that way I wouldn't be mocked. And when I was a kid, I also watched this show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? In an episode entitled The Tale of Train Magic. One of the actors had said something that struck me, and it meant a lot to me. He said train magic, and he described what train magic is. He said, "It depends on how you see it, Timothy." Most people, they look at trains, they see nothing but big old machines. But trains have got more than that, and it's true. Trains got a language, the sounds of wheels on metal, the sharp whistle, the pure sounds of bells. That's a train speaking, if you know how to listen. But you know something? Nothing has more train magic than the conductor's watch. Because all the railroads, as you might know, depend on time. And without time, nothing on the railroad line would be anywhere by now. Even though it sounds like something made up, I just took it to heart and tried to think if it existed. But as time went on, I felt unfortunate that none of my classmates knew why I loved trains so much. Even through my Asperger's, I thought I would still get mocked. But a lot of my classmates made fun of me because I was a train lover. They didn't understand nor care what I did. But I showed them what we big-time railroad enthusiasts get out of this hobby and what you can learn from it, and the stories you can tell, especially stories from my father. I've learned to broaden myself and to explore the knowledge and gain a lot of other things, from documentaries to stories from my father, and I'm proud of it. And I don't care what other people will say. I have broadened my horizon, and I will still continue my hobby, even until I'm dead. I pretend train much here. About time this conductor made his next run. Till next time, all aboard!